Welcome back to the vlog. Welcome here to Goroka. Brad and I are heading out to Denungat. It's a Class D airstrip for us, so it's just a shy of 400 meters long. That's why I'm flying today, and he's not, just because I don't feel comfortable landing with my right hand into Denungat, and you'll see why when we get out there. So let's get started. Got a helicopter heading out. Okay, low start. Engine went up. Reduce our fuel.
November Tango Hotel, 35 right, ready.
Everything's coming nice and slow.
Runway 35 right, make a left hand, clear for takeoff.
35 right, left hand, clear for takeoff. November Tango Hotel.
It's just a 32-minute flight out to Denungat. Brad, I figured we would head out the dirty water gap today, just so we haven't flown through that one together, and that's on the way, so it'd be a good opportunity just to take a look, see at it, and see what it's like, and that way when there's potential weather,
helicopter,
we'll know what it's like. Yeah, so our track actually takes us right beside the dirty water anyway, so that works out good. Goroka Tower, good morning, November Tango Kilo. Request taxi Denungat 2QV.
November Tango Kilo, taxi to runway 17 right, and to backtrack 17 left, line up 17 right, wind light and variable, QNH 1017, temperature 18, time check 03.
1017, clear to backtrack 17 left for 17 right, line up 17 right, November 10 Kilo. It feels like it's been a long time since I've flown. I guess it's only been like a week, but
Tango Hotel Goroka Tower.
We got the weather out there in Denungat. They said it's nice and clear with no winds, which is great. Winds typically pick up and you'll have tailwinds for takeoff a lot of times, just because it kind of swirls. You'll have tailwinds for landing and tailwinds for takeoff, just because it kind of hits the mountain and swirls around. All right, he's giving her a clearance to line up. We'll be 50 knots by the RAA hangar, or we'll board on the runway after takeoff. We'll pitch for 85 knots if we have any engine failure or rollback. Consider our EPL, or consider APL, how we said that. Consider feather, pitch for 85 knots, cut off, pull off, and shut off. 85, then 80 full flaps. Do emergencies, masters, cracker door, and make a call. Goroka Tower, November Tango Kilo, ready for departure.
November Tango Kilo, 17 right, just operation, make a left turn, clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff. 17 left, no, or 7 right, November 10 Kilo. 90. Torque set, airspeed's alive. There's 720, whoops. There's rotate. And there's over 85, we'll go 10 degrees of flaps. We're 90 and we'll bring a prop back. Alright, so the helicopter was well behind us. Yeah, he's showing up on the screen as well behind us. Army did some stuff and it seems to be working a little bit better now, picking up our traffic.
Yeah. Oh, there it goes.
Goroka Tower, November Tango Kilo, departed 10. We'll be tracking 087 on climb, not above 9,000. Estimating Denungat 42.
November Tango Kilo, not above 9,000. Contact Moresby on 123.9, 5565, no contact 8861, in the Plana Gap.
Contact Moresby 123.9 or 5565, 8861, and we'll be tracking for the dirty water.
November Tango Kilo, Roger, contact Moresby in the dirty water gap.
Wilco, November Tango Kilo. I'm going to turn off my left, or correction, my right tank, turn off my left tank a little bit more.
Moresby on 120.7,
Alright,
662.15 miles.
Maybe I'm wrong, maybe it's in between those two, because that's the bending gap right there.
2215 miles, Sierra Delta Papa.
I thought it was, I think it's around that hill, and then you go up to the left.
Okay.
Pretty sure. It doesn't look like it's over here. I think it's, yeah, it has to be around those.
Yeah, according to 4Flight, that's what it looks like.
Going around this hill?
Yeah.
Okay. Damn, I can't. When you're coming back from Hoskins, this is a good way to get in a lot of times because you're coming right through that area.
Okay.
And it always seems to be holes kind of in the afternoon, and you know how it usually is kind of packed up in this area, but then it's usually nice out to the south of Goroka. That will get you into the more of the south area, and then you can find holes to drop down into.
Okay.
Not sure what can we go through this gap here at, does it say?
1,500.
Okay, so let's head on down to that, just for the sake of seeing it a little bit closer to the ground. Turn my TAWs off. A couple weeks ago when I was doing this video coming back from Denunga, which I actually will probably post after this video, I tried to get through this gap right here and just wasn't able to. I was hoping to go through here and it was just packed all the way down to the Bena Gap, so it didn't work.
Sierra Delta Papa, still on 180
which is probably 12 miles from Goroka. Sort of, kind of see it, but not really. Oh, there we go. Now the gap's starting to, like the valley's starting to open up. Moresby 5565, November Tango, Kilo, transfer. Oh, there we go. Now we can see it.
November Tango, Kilo, Moresby, standby.
It's really nice to be able to see these type of gaps on nice clear days like this so that you can see. We'll have one gap out this way and then one kind of gap out this way as well, a little bit lower. So if you can kind of just remember kind of what it looks like, because when you're kind of coming up in here and it's cloudy and there's clouds that are kind of coming to all the ridges, if you don't remember exactly what it looks like, it's pretty intimidating coming up into the valley and going, oh, I can't really see around the next corner, I don't know how big it is on the other side of that, so.
November Kilo, Moresby, good.
November Tango Kilo, 15 miles to the northeast, Goroka, not above 900,000, estimating Denunga 42. The lowest section's right here, and that's the other part that I was talking about.
Kilo, notify traffic, direction H1007.
1007, no extra additional traffic, November Tango Kilo.
November Tango Kilo, confirm you'll be remaining over city.
Affirmative, November Kilo. Okay, so there's the lower valley that goes out around that corner down there, and then this one here, and there is a road down here. I've ridden my motorcycle on this a few times. It's a really awesome ride. It goes all the way down, right through this little area right here, and it goes down all the way down to the river.
That's cool.
So from our place all the way down to the river is exactly 50 miles. But when they made this, they just kind of knocked all the trees down and didn't really
500.
Didn't put any type of drainage stuff, so anytime like rainy season comes hard, it just washes the road out.
Okay.
So it's really not used very often. But I mean, look at the view right here that you come over top of and you get to see this. That's
incredible.
And then coming down here through the grassy hills is just, oh man, it's so awesome. Well, let's go on up to 9,000 now. All right, we've got another airplane or something like a mile from us. Never, that's
November Tango Kilo, traffic November Charlie Alpha, taxiing Taptap for Nadzab. Will be 9,000 on departure.
Copy, traffic November Tango Kilo. What is that? It doesn't even have like an identifier. Papa Hotel Oscar.
It's really weird. It's 2,400 feet below us.
I wonder if it's sitting on a helipad or something.
It could be.
It doesn't look like it's moving. Alright, so we're remaining OCTA, and that leaves us with this right here. That starts at 10,000, we'll be at 9,000, so, and this doesn't start till 13,000, so we're good on both of those fronts. Nuggets, elevation's 5,398 meters long. It says it's a 10% slope, but the little picture doesn't really depict it very good. So the way it is like the first maybe third of the runway is actually like a little bit of a downslope. And it's probably, I'm guessing, at least maybe a 3% downslope. And it doesn't say that though, but I mean, if you just look at it, you go, it's landing downhill.
climbing 9,000. Estimate Nadzab and time.
But it's a 10% overall, so by the time you get to the other end, it's a I don't know, I'd probably say like a 15% slope, but the last part of it, maybe a little bit steeper, but probably about that. So, let's see. Be boggy on the bottom side, draggy. Touchdown slope is a 4.3% slope. There's no way that it's an upslope of 4%. Like, it just looks like it's down. Even when you walk down there, like, this does not look like a 4% slope. So, I think it's a 4% down slope. It definitely makes kind of landing there a bit awkward because, like, as you're coming in, and you typically, like, pull the power and flare, then if you do that, you actually go further away, and then you kind of just sink like 6 to 8 feet out of the ground and kind of have a hard landing. So it's like super counterintuitive, but you have to like pull the power. I immediately drop the flaps, and then either just try to hold the altitude right there, or even sometimes like push down a little bit, just so that you're kind of going down with the hill. I haven't had any bad landings out here yet, but they're never like, oh, that was like super comfortable, kind of. Like, it's just kind of always an awkward feeling, because you're like, oh wait, no, don't flare. Oh wait, maybe you should push, or so.
You're dropping the flaps. You're bringing them up.
I just put my flaps up immediately
before touchdown.
Yep.
Okay.
That way, I don't float. I'm just losing any little bit of extra lift that my wings are creating, because once I get over top of the threshold, if I'm about the altitude I want to be, which is maybe like 4 feet off the ground, then I just drop the flaps and go idle, and then it takes 7 seconds for the flaps to go all the way up, so in those 7 seconds you just slowly sink down to the ground. Okay. If I was high above the ground, yeah, I probably still would, because it's only like 400 meters long, and I just want to get down to the ground so I have enough stopping space.
It's my first time out this direction.
This is the same route that you go out to Hoskins in the morning.
Okay.
That big ridge up here, typically we'll just go just to the right of that if we're heading out, if the weather's clear or something, that's the route that we'll just go right by.
Okay.
You haven't been down in this valley at all, though, have you?
I haven't been low like this, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's just been higher up.
Right over top of these hills here is Nankina, so that's another way you can go, is you can just jump over that. I've only done it maybe once, I think, because it only works if you're by yourself, because you have to drop from like, whatever, 11,000 or 11,500, and then drop all the way down to like 6,000 feet for altitude, so it's a pretty short, like less than 10 miles, and you have to just drop like 5,000 feet.
Okay.
Well, let's go ahead and start our descent down to 5,000, and the runway direction is heading 11. Pretty much lined up with it already. A 5-knot tailwind on landing, maximum. They were saying that there is no wind out here, which is good, so. What we'll do is we'll fly basically paralleling it, and there's mountains all around it, so we'll fly over top of them, so the whole pattern we won't even see where the actual runway is.
Okay.
For the viewers, that's why this is really handy for here in Papua New Guinea, is putting your OBS on your omni-bearing selector, and so that you can see like the orientation of the runway regardless of where you are at, because we're not going to see the runway for pretty much until we're on our base. We'll get selectors here in a minute. Our TAWS is off, our VREF, our landing speed 5,500, so we'll go 64 knots. Do inlet lights. If we have to go around, it's going to be power up 20 degrees of flaps, pitch for 73, and a right hand turn back out of the valley, and then reset our ITT 740. As we get out of here, we're only 7 miles from it, so we have to basically do like a big loop to get her over top of these mountains again here. All stations to Nugget 1239er, November Tango Kilo, 7 miles to the west, 8,500 on descent. Circuit time,
vertical
Nugget
track.
41. Oh, apparently these clouds just came into existence. See that it's just clear right after. I hope so. Yeah. Although it did the same in Goroka Valley, though. There was nothing, and then within like 40 minutes or so, all the mountains kind of had some clouds on them. Prop forward.
500.
Moresby 5565, November Tango Kilo. End the circuit to Nugget, report after landing.
November Tango Kilo.
All stations to Nugget, November Tango Kilo, end the circuit to Nugget. So 10 degrees of flaps. Right, there it is, right down there.
Okay.
Looks like the whole circuit looks like it's open. I'm gonna have to make my descent a little bit quicker though, so any ear problems today? If you get out here too early, the sun's too low and you're coming right in and the sun's straight out that way, so you have this black hole effect, so you can't come too early.
And then there's also an 11 a.m. curfew.
Yeah, so you really only have a window of like pretty much 8 to 11. You know, later on in the morning, then you'll have tailwinds for landing, and then it hits that big bowl, and then it just turns the wind around, and then you have a tailwind for takeoff as well. We're going all the way down to 6,000. Touchdown's 5,000. Or is it 5,000 for touchdown?
I think it's 5,000.
4,900 touchdown zone. All right, so we're actually going to go 5,900. Up and harnesses are done. Flaps to go. Now it's a tailwind up here. Looking for the windsock. It looks like it's just hanging there. Windsock's just limp. We'll touch down probably around the first cone in. There's only one cone on the left. That's probably about where we'll touch down. We went 64 on final, 74 and 84 on downwind. So there's these little points that I just fly to. Kind of where the little point is on this hill going down.
Okay.
I just aim for that, and then once we make the next turn, you'll see. So at this one, yeah, all I'm doing is flying to specific locations at specific altitudes, and then you don't have to think. As long as you have your QNH set up properly, and it makes your life so much easier, because with the valley dropping off like this, it's very easy just to get low in your pattern if you're just going off of what your sight picture you think it should look like, you know?
What altitude do you want at this point?
I'm going to be entering in at like 5,900 feet.
Okay.
So then there's this other 2 points over here. I'm just going to go on to the right of that, the other one right there. So I'm going to, once I get to that point, that's when I'm going to just start basically dropping down to my base. That will be basically about a beam, the runway, or pretty close to it. About 20 degrees of flaps. And I want to be turning our base 300 under, so 5,600. Turning final 54. Slow into 94 knots. Correction, 84 knots. So there's a couple ridges out here. The one that kind of goes down further and then kind of splays out at the bottom. That's the one I wanted to go all the way to turn final, 5,400 there. Flaps and landing clearance to go. So kind of where the ridge comes down, that's what I'm aiming for, is right there. About 100 feet high. Turning final 54. 4 knots of headwind potentially for landing. Flaps, checklist is complete. Four knots crosswind. Five knots crosswind, 3 knots of headwind. Just aiming to the very end of the runway. Are dropping off. 600 feet under
500.
We're committed. What I mean?
That's
Definitely,
super uncomfortable.
definitely downhill.
Oh wow.
Right. Moresby 5565, November, Tango Kilo, on the ground, Denunget, cancel, SAR.
November Tango Kilo, Denunget, SAR, terminated.
November, Tango Kilo.
I understand why that's category D.
I would say that was my smoothest landing I have ever had here, ever. Yes, that's how I land all the time. But you know that's not true. Alright, I'm going to park sideways like this. Last time I did it the other way where I just lined up and I didn't really like it as much. So there just didn't seem to be as much room, or kind of felt like that it was, oh, and also like see how the ground goes up? I couldn't barely even get the tail stand in, so if you park like that and the ground's going up, then it's just a real pain. So, all right, what am I looking for here? Oh yeah, my fuel. All right, guys, if you like that landing, I thought that was cool, give this video a thumbs up. I sure do appreciate it, and it helps getting this video out to other people. Share it with your friends, and see you guys next time.